Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, I have a heartwarming story to share with you, a tale that reminds us of courage, growth, and the love of a family. So, gather around, get comfortable, and let's travel to a magical place together. Deep in the heart of a vast emerald green forest stood a magnificent old tree. Its branches reached high into the sky like giant arms embracing the clouds. Tucked away securely amongst its leaves was a cozy little nest, the home of 3 little birds and their loving mother. Life in the nest was simple and sweet. Each morning, as the sun painted the sky with shades of orange and pink, Mother Bird would kiss her babies goodbye. "Chirp, chirp, be good, my darlings," she would sing before soaring into the air. Her mission was always the same: to find the juiciest worms and the most delicious berries for her hungry little ones. Back in the nest, the 3 baby birds would wait. They were brothers, and they did everything together. They would peep and cheep, telling each other stories only they could understand. They would watch the busy world below the scurrying squirrels, the fluttering butterflies, and the slow-marching ants. They felt safe and sound in their high-up home, eagerly awaiting the familiar rustle of wings that signaled their mother's return. And she always did return, her beak full of treats, her heart full of love. The nest would erupt in happy chirps as she shared the food, and they would all snuggle together as the sun went down. But one afternoon, the sky began to change. The bright blue faded to a stormy grey, and a strange silence fell over the forest. The air grew heavy. Suddenly, a fierce wind began to roar through the trees. It wasn't a gentle breeze. It was a powerful gale that grabbed the branches and shook them with all its might. The tall tree, their home, swayed back and forth like a ship caught in a furious sea. Inside the nest, the 3 little birds were terrified. They had never experienced anything like this. Their cozy home was being tossed about violently, and they clung to each other, their tiny hearts beating like drums. The wind howled like a hungry wolf, and with one particularly strong gust, the nest tilted dangerously, almost tipping over the edge. They cried out, huddling together for warmth and comfort, their little bodies trembling with fear. It felt like the storm would never end. After what seemed like an eternity, the wind began to soften, and the dark clouds started to part. A single ray of sunshine broke through, and the forest slowly came back to life. Just then, they heard a familiar, gentle flutter of wings. It was Mother Bird. She landed softly on the edge of the battered nest, her eyes filled with worry. When she saw her 3 babies, shaken but safe, a wave of relief washed over her. She nuzzled each one of them tenderly. "Oh, my dear children," she cooed softly, her voice full of love and a newfound seriousness. "Today, you were very frightened. I was too. But this storm has taught us something important." She looked at each of them. "One day, you must learn to fly. You need to be strong enough to face the world on your own. You cannot stay in the safety of this nest forever." The little birds listened, their fear slowly turning into curiosity. They understood the world was bigger and sometimes scarier than they had imagined, and they needed to be prepared. The very next morning, the sun rose bright and clear, as if to apologize for the storm. Mother Bird announced, "Today is the day. Today we begin flight school." She led her children to a sturdy branch just outside the nest. "Flying is in your nature," she explained. "You just need to trust your wings and be brave." The oldest brother, puffing out his chest to look brave, decided to go first. He waddled to the edge of the branch, peered down at the ground far below, and his courage vanished. His feathers ruffled with fear. He took a hesitant hop, but his wings barely opened. He tumbled awkwardly off the branch, landing with a soft thump in a leafy green bush below. He wasn't hurt, just a little embarrassed. "I'm okay," he chirped up to them. Next, it was the second brother's turn. He had watched his older brother and was determined to do better. He took a running start, flapping his wings as hard as he could. He launched into the air. For a moment, he was flying, but he wasn't quite strong enough yet. He glided for a short distance, like a paper airplane, before landing gently on a lower branch. He had flown, but not for long. Still, it was a start. Finally, all eyes were on the youngest bird. He had watched both of his brothers. He saw his first brother's fear and his second brother's effort. He took a deep breath. He didn't hesitate. With a brave little chirp, he leaped from the branch into the wide open air. He didn't just fall or glide. He remembered his mother's words. "Trust your wings." He flapped them once, twice, 3 times with surprising speed and power. And then something magical happened. He caught the wind and began to rise. Higher and higher he flew, circling above the tree. Down below, his mother and brothers watched in awe. They broke into the loudest, most joyful cheers the forest had ever heard. Seeing their youngest brother soaring freely against the brilliant blue sky filled them with pride and excitement. That moment changed everything. Inspired by their little brother's success, the 2 older birds were no longer scared or hesitant. From that day on, every single morning was dedicated to practice. They would jump, flap, glide, and soar together. They helped each other, cheered for each other, and grew stronger with each attempt. The falls became fewer and the flights became longer. Before long, all 3 of them could navigate the skies with ease. They were no longer tiny, helpless babies confined to a nest. They were confident, strong birds, masters of the wind. They would race each other through the clouds, explore the far corners of the forest, and return home each evening with stories of their adventures. They had learned the most valuable lesson of all. Life will have its storms, and staying in the nest forever isn't an option. True freedom and strength are found not in avoiding challenges, but in facing them with courage. Only by bravely trying, even when we are scared, can we truly learn to spread our wings and fly. And so, the 3 little birds lived happily, flying freely under the vast open sky, forever grateful for the storm that taught them how to soar. Thank you so much for joining me for this beautiful story today. I hope it inspired you as much as it inspired me. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more wonderful tales. We love having you as part of our community. Until next time, stay brave and keep flying high.